A very hi to all the viewers. The very positive thing about crisis or circumstances is it enables us to develop our capacity and capability, and it allows us to stretch our limits. For example, with COVID pandemic, there was a boom in digitization. It allows us to know our shortcomings and go digital. The recession in 2008 has brought NPCI, which is National Payments Corporation of India. With demonetization 2016, UPI has come. Because with demonetization, there was money in the bank, but there was no money in our pockets. So UPI has played a very important role in enabling digital payments in India. The system built on a digital platform covers the entire nation, be it a rural landscape or remote locations where there is no data connectivity. It is being used by 120 million merchants. That's the power of UPI in driving the country. In this video, we would learn about what is UPI, its achievement in financial inclusion, its achievement in digital India, in ease of doing business, in cashless economy. And also we would learn how RuPay has displaced Visa and MasterCard, UPI expansion globally, and also recently in the news we have seen that integrating UPI with credit card. So we would learn all these things in much more details. This topic deals with GS paper 2, human resource, education, government policies, economy, and GS paper 3, which is IT and computers. Just after the recession 2008, when the countries of the whole world recovering their economies, India on the similar line developed National Payment Corporation of India NPCI in 2009, because in order to bring economy back on track, trade is essential, and for trade, transaction is essential, and for robust transaction, a common platform is required. So NPCI was formed in 2009 with an objective to consolidate, combine and integrate multiple systems for payment with different services level into one nationwide standard uniform and business processes for all payment transactions under guidelines and support of Central Bank RBI and Indian Banks Association. NPCI to design and facilitate an affordable payment process so that the common man make retail payment on a day-to-day basis by saving time and cost. Now we would see what is UPI and its achievement in financial inclusion. The UPI was launched in the year 2016 and is operated by the National Payment Corporation of India, which is NPCI. UPI operates on top of the immediate payment service, which was created by NPCI for immediate fund transfer, and UPI based payment functions broadly through virtual payment address. This we would see later in detail. Since the UPI has been launched, it has seen a phenomenal growth in transaction. In just a 5-year span of time, the value of transaction have risen from 1.1 lakh crore to approximately 50 lakh crore. India has achieved remarkable feat in the digital payments ecosystem, which is unparalleled across the globe. At a macro level, these are dividends of the Digital India mission, which has been driving a wave of transformation in the country. More than 40% of all retail digital payments, non-cash and non-papers payments in India happened through UPI. With innovation and committed focus, the UPI crossed a billion transaction a month in 2019 and is now 1.3 billion transaction. The UPI has become one of the fastest growing payment platforms in the world and has now attracted attention from the global policymaker. It is now regarded as an important institutional and public policy innovation. So, we can learn that innovation, simplicity and inclusion are the guiding principle of UPI. we can learn this ISI. Also, the intent is to drive digital public goods and make a difference in the areas of financial inclusion, cash displacement, citizen welfare and financial tech incubation, because that is what will create jobs. In the year 2020, UPI as a platform achieved about $457 billion worth of commerce, which is about 15% of India's GDP. Now let's understand how does this UPI works in an innovative, simple and inclusive manner. Suppose there is a user who wants to send money to this fellow through his bank 1 to the bank 2. Now, the traditional method used to be that account shall not be debited without your permission. So, in traditional way, the user had to submit debit instructions directly to the bank, either by signing a check or via internet banking system. Now here in this case, with the help of UPI ID, the third party apps, which are specialized apps like Google Pay, Paytm, PhonePe, Amazon, were allowed to collect the debit instructions and submit them to the account holder's bank using secured backend system managed by NPCI. We can understand the similar process like when we send email. So our data, we use email ID to send our data from one person to another person. So here that data is equivalent to that of money and the email ID is equivalent to that of UPI ID. If we are required to understand the same in a technical terms, then this is a bank having physical account. This is a user 1 and user 2. The money has to be transferred from here to here. Now the virtual account is a dummy or account which is attached to the physical account, thereby making the original account number hidden. The virtual account number is system generated UPID. Suppose XYZ@ABC bank. Now this virtual payment address or VPA eliminates the risk of mentioning account details in every transaction. It can be created in a couple of minutes using UPI app. The only prerequisite is that your bank account is to be linked to a mobile number. So, first bank account is mapped to a VPA address and then the payment service provider, which is typically a bank, takes care of to and fro transaction to this virtual payment address. And finally, the UPI software thus transfer the fund from customer VPA 1 to customer VPA 2 and completes the transaction. Now this transaction is different from paying with a debit card or credit card, as it does not involve merchant's discount rate, which is MDR. The MDR is a fee that receptant bank collects. The receptant bank collects from the merchant. For UPI transaction, there is no MDR, like in the case of India's government RuPay card, which also does not have MDR, and hence there is no price to be paid by the merchant. Now let's understand the challenges that we used to face earlier and the solution by the virtual accounts, which is UPI. India is being touted as the world leader in the financial tech space. One of the reasons is advanced real-time payment system, which is UPI. In fact, UPI is one of the most preferred digital mode of payment in India with 64% of market share. So, customers prefer UPI as it is user-friendly, easy to use and work in real time. In such a situation, it is only logical for business to create virtual UPIDs to collect payments as well. So it offers virtual UPIDs as well. In new age virtual account system like cash-free payments allow you to create virtual UPIDs. This way you can collect hassle-free payment while reducing the chances of user churn or any kind of friction. Limited payment modes for collection. Like earlier we have the options with the bank is that of only NEFT or RTGS. So this can lead to draw and significant loss of revenue. And RTGS, as we know, leads to charges as well. Now with new technology, which is UPI, we have moved to real-time system which has bypassed the NEFT, RTGS and check system. Now UPI with PhonePe, WhatsApp or Google Pay make the transaction very easily. Earlier we were restricted by banking hours. Now we have moved to real-time system. We have facility of 24 hours transaction now. Insufficient reconciliation. Now real-time conciliation through APIs. Outdated technology, tech-first scalable solution. Now let's understand the other benefits of UPI. The popularity of UPI is evident. From tiny roadside shop to large brands, many merchants accept UPI-based payments. The primary reason for this penetration that UPI accept transaction from as small as 1 rupee to a big amount. The absence of MDR that have to pay to their bank is a significant incentive to accept UPI payments. Also, just your smartphone is being needed, the only device needed to complete a transaction, make the process very simple. Instead of using devices like point of scale, swap card, etc. etc. If there is no extra prices to be paid by the customer or merchant, now there is authentication and security to your account. There is a mobile personal identification number which is MPIN for the UPI application. And if you block a mobile number due to the theft, the UPI transaction will automatically be halted. And one-time payment by merchant generating QR code is another significant feature of this UPI. Therefore, UPI brings us one step closer to age of digital financial technology. The UPI phenomenal success. The Google requested US Federal Bank to develop a similar solution on the line of India's UPI. Now NCPI has decided to streamline use of UPI in international market. This will help economies introduce a unified payment system in their respective economies to reap its benefit, and also the use of technology to strengthen the partnership between the two countries. Now here is a list of important countries with whom the NPCI have developed collaboration. Now here the NPCI has launched a dedicated international subsidiary called NPCI International to look after all the foreign operations, adoptions and expansion in various centers of the world. NPCI has tied up with payment systems in Nepal. This will boost open interoperable system and enable immediate person-to-person and person-to-merchant UPI payment transactions in Nepal. It enables real-time cross-border person-to-person transaction between India and Nepal. Now this project is expected to go live by 2022 July. Once it's operable in Singapore, the new app will further serve as an anchor for smoother trade transactions, travel as well as flow of remittance between Singapore and India. Now the strategic partnership between UAE and NPCI will boost digital payment ecosystem in UAE, which will smoothen transactions between India and the UAE. Similarly, in France, the association will enable Indian students and tourists to easily pay via UPI and RuPay card at any terminal or machine owned and backed by Lyra networks. So, with user-friendly payment for cross-border travel, With UPI, Indians will no longer need to carry a Forex card or the nation's currency to make transaction. Just like their debit card or credit card, they will able to make payments via UPI. Now let's understand the challenges with taking UPI globally, and now this is an expected question in upcoming mains. Although countries have agreed for integrating, but there are numerous challenges. First is onboarding international merchants. That it is hard to integrate the older system which these countries have been adopting to integrate with this new version. So, and also it is highly time and resource consuming. Although a robust system has been developed by NPCI to ensure seamless and secure international payment via UPI, the chances of cyber breaches still persist. So the agency has to work and upgrade and keep on upgrading their new technologies to enhance security features to ensure that there is no negligible cyber attacks. Now, competitive payment system. Now here it says that partnering with India to launch UPI or use India's technology to build a similar platform will clash their already existing payment system. The same problem prevails in the case of United States and China. Embracing zero transactional charges. NPCI through UPI has imposed zero transaction charges in India. Now merchant discount rate are some of the ways through which banks or PSPs earn revenue. So doing away this revenue streamlines might be unacceptable to other countries. So a new transaction charges system might be needed to work out. Opening customer data to rival banks. Now this is the major concern. UPI uses open banking APIs to enable one bank to access the account information of a patron from another's bank to process a payment. This means a rival bank can access the information of existing customers and offer them better services. So Indian payment players have embraced this infrastructure with competitive spirit. However, the same cannot be said about all economies looking to adopt UPI. Now here are the reasons behind growth of UPI, a success in India. Major contribution to India's GDP. The UPI recorded a whopping of 40% of total 55 billion digital transactions that took place in the year 2020 to 21. A widespread customer adoption. Nearly 274 banks offer UPI facilities, which is another reason behind this success. So UPI recorded a monthly volume of 4.18 billion transactions in the month of November 2021 itself. It is user friendly. A new facility of QR code is embedded. Interoperability. You can transfer fund real time to multiple bank accounts with 24x7x365 with facility available 24x7x365 days. Zero merchant discount rate. UPI transaction done via cash-free payments. Dashboard comply with all necessary security measures. And also the very important financial inclusion. Extremely easy to use. This means that highly adoption rate even among the disadvantaged sections of the Indian population. Socio-economic barriers. Anyone and everyone can use UPI unlike many similar modes of payments. Now in this slide you could see the future of UPI global, and if we connect UPI to credit cards, it has been recently in the news, and if we would link the credit cards to UPI, it would be very helpful for our MSME sectors, as we have seen a model of Bangladesh. So if we integrate the UPI with credit cards, it is going to surpass Visa and MasterCards by 2023. So this was all about NPCI and UPI and its future course. I hope you found this video informative. Thank you so much.